What are some red flags to look out for when considering whether to join a data/tech team? Here's one. I interviewed with the director of data science and asked what his roadmap was for the next 12 months. He mentioned team growth, diversity, tech stack, etc. I asked, how will we contribute to customers and business? He couldn't answer anything coherent. 3 red flags. Wow. I feel like if the team you're going into doesn't use version control, you're in for hurt. They can teach you stuff like Git, but they already better be using it. Are there teams out there that don't use version control? Anything meta. Okay, metaverse development. Or meta just in general. Like, you wouldn't want to work for WhatsApp. How proficient are you at are you in Excel? Oh my god. If anyone from HR reads this as a joke, please spare me. We do have some meta engineers in here. That is true. Okay, so here's a red flag for me. I remember when I was interviewing for places not long ago, one of the red flags for me was someone just asked about automation. So I went to interview for this team, and like they had like a technical assessment. Like it was pretty like, you know, stats forward. The questions that they were asking were all like your typical data science questions. And then we get to like, so I was being interviewed by like a director person, and then I met with their manager. And it's not too different than a lot of places, but the manager of the department was more of like a technical lead kind of person, project manager kind of person, was the technical day-to-day person. That person asked me, like, what are my experiences with automation? And I said, oh, like automating, like, what do you mean? Do you mean like automation, like scheduled notebooks? Do you mean automation, like Git pipelines that have some sort of time to them, like scheduling something through cron, doing something through like Ansible playbooks? How large or how narrow are we talking about in terms of automation? And the manager said, yeah, all of that. Like, oh, what's your experience in any of that? And that's when I was like, okay, if this technical lead person is asking me very widely about automation, like it could go one of two ways, right? The one way is like they have an automated process that like they're trying to keep hidden, or the other way, which is what it ended up being when I investigated a little more, which is they don't do any automation, none, zero automation. And so like, you know, an interview or two later, when I was talking to some of the hands-on keyboard people, I was like, yeah, so what do you guys do for automation? You know, a little question for the question. Like, you ever see the that guy who plays 12 Grandmasters and he wins 11 of the 12 games or something? You ever see that? So it was kind of like that. Like the trick to playing 12 Grandmasters and only losing one game, as you go around and play each one, your move, you're essentially just connecting one Grandmaster to another. So as moves happen on one board, you mimic those moves on a different board. The majority of players are playing against each other, but you play basically just a straight up game with one of them. And that one person rolls you. You could do the same in interviews, right? You could take questions and ask them back to the team and see what the answer is to see like what the truth is to the question. So asked some hands-on keyboard people, what's the automation workflow? And they said, oh, we don't really do automation since all of the stuff we do, like, we kind of have to, like, maintain ourselves. I was like, oh, so what's the maintenance flow? Like, what is it that you need to do on a daily basis? And they literally just said, like, oh, we run this script in the morning, this script in the evening. They've got to make sure, like, before someone leaves that they run this script before we go. And it's like, but you're just describing, like, you're just describing non-automated notebook running. Why not just automate that stuff? And they were like, oh, well, we don't really want to, like, you know, like, how do you version control cron? I was like, well, it doesn't have to be like a cron job that does this. But also, you could, if you wanted to version control cron, you could do that. But, you know, there are notebook managers. You could do things through, like, Git. You could do, like, there's so many places you could automate. Yeah, we just never did that. I'm like, what the So I'm imagining what the workflow would be, and like whatever product you would produce, you would just have to manually run forever? Didn't sound right to me. Okay, any more red flags? Any more red flags? So me, it's like always related to like, when a question sounds a little weird.
Red flag, you're the only person within 3 hours of your time zone.
That could be a red flag. If you're, like, for instance, if you're the first remote person on the team, that could be a red flag, right? Like, why are there not other remote people here? I would say that's more of a yellow flag, because maybe companies are pivoting towards a remote work environment. But if you have only 1 or 2 people who are remote, if you don't have a manager who, like, keeps the remote, like, the time zone in mind, then, like, weird shit happens. We got a 9 a.m. staff meeting. Hawaii person. That's 3 in the morning.
You wouldn't wake up at 3 a.m. for work? Where's your loyalty?
Yeah, you really got to wear the badge of honor for that one, you know?